Historically, travelers have always stayed directly with the stay brands, by which I mean hotels competed with each other for the customer. In effect, the hotel owns the relationship directly with the consumer, and there are no middlemen in between. However, there has now been a bifurcation of travel brands, and a new class of brands has entered the marketplace. This new class is called the booking brands, which have become the dominant point of entry for consumers and have added a new expense variable, known as cost of acquisition, into the equation, while trying to determine what to charge a customer. Consumers pass through these brands before they decide where to stay, and these players are typically companies with huge market caps, like Google, Expedia, Facebook, Booking.com, companies that you probably hear about on a day-to-day basis. Hotels are paying to get traffic from these sites while still paying to compete with each other, stay brands, at the same time. So competing with this new class of brands with much, much larger budgets for marketing is one reason why costs are rising so much. Traditionally, hotels will pay a third-party commission for any booking that comes through a channel. Commissions can be a flat commission or a percentage of the booking price. For example, the more expensive the room, the more cash in the third party's pockets. Commissions generally range between 10 and 25% per booking, depending on third party and what part of the world you're in. Calibri Labs recently did a study for Hospitality Asset Managers Association where they took data from about 500 US hotels from 2009 to 2012. They discovered that commissions are rising at 2 times the rate of revenue growth, and studies from 2013 and 2014 show the trend is continuing. This means that third-party commissions have been increasing at almost double the rate of total revenue at a specific property. Thus, it is crucial for hotels to make sure they're at least maintaining, or preferably beating, rate parity to drive traffic to their own website. Rate parity means maintaining consistent rates for the same product on all distribution channels. If hotel has a higher price on their own brand website, the consumer might be incentivized to book through a third party. Thus, the hotel pays an unnecessary commission. It's important for hotels to make sure the prices at their property are sound, especially for those segments and those channels that might have the highest commission costs, because these have the highest impact on your direct profit. While generating revenue is crucial, keeping an eye on profit is also very important. Management companies, owners, and operators must look at both the top and bottom line to put customer acquisition costs in perspective of revenue management. Think of things with perishable inventories like stadiums, airlines, rental cars, among other things. Airlines and car rentals hover around 3 to 7% for those acquisition costs. So while they're definitely something to be taken into account, it's at a much smaller scale than what we're dealing with in today's hotel industry. With costs hovering between 15 and 25%, and those costs are only going up, hotels are spending 10 to 20% of their room revenues on commissions and transaction fees. Once you layer in sales and marketing costs to that, hotels are spending 20 to 30% of room revenue for customer acquisition, even before the customer walks through the door. Please keep in mind that these costs are not just directly associated with online travel agencies or OTA commissions. They're associated with sales and marketing commission expenses for sales teams at a property, direct advertising costs that directs traffic through direct channels, like a website, among a variety of other factors. Like most businesses, these third parties are in business to make money and increase company value. They work hard every year to increase revenue and to grow market share. If hotels don't act intelligently, these intermediaries will continue to take bigger share of industry revenue. Let's take a step back. As some of you may be asking, why are these costs so much higher in the hotel industry than the airlines or car rentals? The answer is fragmentation. When airline or car rental companies sit down to negotiate with OTA channels for their contractual rates, there's the global head of air or car brand meeting with the global head of the OTA brand. If conversations go awry, a party will get up and walk away. When you consider that United Airlines controls nearly 20% of US air travel, OTAs are less likely to risk losing that significant amount of business and market share for what would be a few percentage point of commissions. Keep in mind that the Marriotts, Accors, and other brands have a few thousand hotels to the roughly 500,000 globally, which is tiny relative to the market share of most global airlines. While the corporate teams of the larger hotel brands still own many of the conversations with the OTAs, there's still a disconnect when a property can act alone and drive independent negotiations with the OTA. This can become a race to the bottom, when hotels competing with each other to offer the lowest prices are also paying the highest commissions for those bookings. Not to mention that by offering lower prices through third-party channels, hotels have helped condition consumers to book with and become loyal to third-party channels and not the hotel brand. With all these talks of costs, in the next video, I will discuss generating revenue. Specifically, we will introduce revenue management.